Hello and welcome to Kika's photo challenge. This is week 3 and today we are going to talk about having the self-confidence to make this jump. Oh my god. All right. Okay. Well, we're not going to talk about the self-confidence to make the jump. That was a metaphor. We're going to talk about having the self-confidence to share your work online, and that can sometimes feel like taking a huge leap of not faith, but huge leap of courage. And since in this photo challenge, I've been encouraging you to share your work online and on Instagram, but I know that that can feel a little scary and vulnerable. I wanted to make this video and also share some tips and maybe tools, if you can call them that, thoughts maybe, that I've found helpful in getting more confidence and sharing my work and putting my face out on this YouTube channel and in my photos on Instagram, and hopefully you'll find some value in them too. I put up this survey on my website a few months ago where I asked people about their struggles and dreams when it came to social media, creativity and photography. And a really overwhelming answer when it came to the struggles part was people telling me that they felt a lack of self-confidence. And I absolutely, totally get it, because that's something that I've struggled with so much. And especially I worried so much what people might think when I started to put more artsy self-portraits on my Instagram account around 4 years ago. And I had just graduated from an art university, and I was really afraid what my old colleagues or my old classmates would think, because they can be a bit of a tough crowd. And I just feared what people in real life that knew me would think when they saw my Instagram account, and obviously seeing that, okay, I'm putting effort into this and doing these more whimsical conceptual photos. And yeah, that I felt like was on my mind a lot, and I felt also sort of embarrassed and maybe ashamed that I was putting in so much time and effort into this app that maybe represents all these vain and capitalistic values, which is sort of exactly the opposite to contemporary dance and the world I was coming from. I mean, I'm sort of generalizing a little bit, but I hope you understand what I mean. So I absolutely know that, and it can feel really scary and vulnerable when you come from maybe posting a picture of your garden or a picture of your dog to like a full blown out self-portrait where you're posing and like doing all these kind of silly things. So that's why I want to talk about this, and I have 5 tips that I want to give you, a little bit of a toolbox, so you don't have to feel that that lack of self-confidence is holding you back. Oh, okay, I just got some snow in my neck. Oh my god. Okay, this is proving to be a little bit of a tricky task to do this outdoors. What is holding you back? If you downloaded the workbook that I put together that is free, that is in the link in the description below, there is a section on gaining more creative confidence and sharing your work online. And one of the things that I ask there is, what is holding you back? Are there any thought patterns that might be preventing you from sharing your work online and feeling proud and good about it? So, like I said, I worried what my old classmates would think when I was doing these and posting these artsy photos of myself on Instagram. But every time I then saw someone in real life, I was surprised by usually the lack of them knowing that I was doing this. So people have busy lives, they don't care. So most of the people, they hadn't paid attention to it. Or the ones that had seen my photos, they were really excited about it and really positive. So me spending all this time worrying about it was completely unnecessary. And even though it didn't happen overnight and it took some time for me to get comfortable even talking about it, and I would get a little embarrassed, and I don't know, I just felt a little silly anytime I had to meet somebody and kind of explain it. But with time, it got more okay, and I felt more normal about it and also more proud about it. And now it's really not a big deal at all. I don't think about what other people that know me in real life think about what I'm doing. It's mostly myself who gets in the way, but I think it's really good to spend a moment and think about what it is that is holding you back. What are the thoughts? Maybe you're fearing? Maybe you're scared. Well, maybe you're fearing. I don't know if you can use that as a verb, probably not, but maybe you have the fear that you'll get judged, or maybe you're comparing yourself to other accounts, or thinking you'll get ridiculed or criticized. So just being aware of those things and maybe articulating it to yourself, that can already help in feeling like you're taking now control of it. So I think sometimes when we have these thought patterns that are just running around in the back of our minds and we're not really paying attention to them, but maybe we're ignoring them, that usually leads to them actually getting a stronger hold of us. So I think it's good to just spend some time, even though maybe it's a little uncomfortable, but hopefully then that can also help you then let go of it. This next idea is creating your own superpower. So, okay, bear with me a little bit. This is maybe gonna sound a little silly, but one thing that I sometimes do, or the first time I did it, was when I was standing in a train in the tube in London. And sometimes in the middle they have these windows that are open between two carriages, and I was standing there, and it was a pretty hot day, and I was holding on to one of the the thingies that you hold on to in a tube in a metro, and the wind was blowing, and suddenly I had this vision of, I imagined myself being like a superhero because I was having a little bit of a bad day. But then I thought, like, okay, this is like the wind is blowing in my hair and I'm this superhero, and I am going on this important adventure and task. And I can't remember, I think I was even actually going out somewhere, gonna go and take a photo, which always is a little stressful and makes me feel a little bit small, and just always is a little bit of a test on how self-confident I can be. So that just really helped me. So sometimes when I'm having a bad day or I feel like nothing is working, I will think that. I will pretend that I am a little bit of a superhero. Or one other visualization, oh, that is difficult to say, visualization that I sometimes do is that I have like a whole army of people behind me that are rooting for me and cheering me on, that I'm actually not doing this thing alone. And your superpower could look very different. And I was actually thinking about this. If you had some thought patterns that you identified maybe holding you back, one superpower could be to just let go. How nice would that be? And you don't have to think about like, oh, now I have this thing that is holding me back, that I have to change it, or oh, start to work on it. But actually maybe just letting it go and letting it be, and thinking, could that bring maybe some more space and less strain into my mind when I take photos or when I'm sharing them, or just in my whole journey. I think like trying to just figure out softer ways to not have so much resistance in your own mind. That could also be a superpower. So I just want to, give this thought and exercise to you. So creating your own superpower, so then whenever you feel like, oh, I don't know, you can go there, take that superpower, boost your self-confidence, and go out there and conquer the world. Easy peasy, right? Not sure if I'm gonna be able to climb this tree. It'll be fun though, but maybe I can stand here in the middle. All right, elevation. Oh yeah, it's starting to snow quite a bit. Being your own mentor. Okay, this is weird. One thing that I sometimes do to try to get a little perspective if I feel that I'm not so confident is I try to be my own mentor and try to think, what advice would I give a friend in this situation? Because sometimes we can actually talk to ourselves pretty negatively, and the internal dialogue that is going on in your head might not at all be helpful. So then instead, trying to step out of yourself a little bit and being your own mentor and thinking like, okay, seeing the bigger picture here and what might be helpful in this moment. One other good piece of advice that I got from a friend once was that actually sometimes when you maybe feel really down or like, oh, just don't have the energy or just kind of lousy, is instead of thinking like, oh no, but I should be like hustling and bustling and going out there, is to sometimes just surrender to that feeling and allow yourself to feel a little bit pathetic and small for a moment, and put on your woolly socks and go in the couch and maybe have a cry and just let it out, and then probably you'll feel much better. I, for one, can sometimes feel that if I have a bad day or I'm not feeling so self-confident, that almost like a guilt that, oh, but I have everything, like in the big picture, everything is so well and going okay that I shouldn't actually feel this way, and that I'm not allowing myself that. And then I feel even worse. So actually allowing yourself that sometimes and surrendering to that feeling can help let it just ease out and that it's not taking a hold of you. Look how pretty. There's a little snowflake. Oh, can you see it? Put on your researcher hat. Not sure if researchers wear hats, but we're gonna put it on anyways. One thing that I found pretty helpful, especially at a time when I was not growing on my social media platforms. On Instagram, I was just stuck and it felt like my photos didn't really resonate, and I got really caught up in the numbers and really started to stare at them blindly and thinking like if a photo didn't do well, I felt like, oh, this photo was a flop, I don't know anything, I don't have any good ideas, and it really started to eat me up and I felt not at all self-confident. Then instead I tried to flip it around and see if I could make it into an experiment and actually try to take my emotional attachment away from it and think of it more like, okay, I'm gonna try to post this photo, let's see what happens. And instead of getting caught up in thinking like, oh, if it receives this many likes, that means that, oh, I must be good and it makes me really happy. Instead, try to see it as there aren't really any bad or good outcomes, because it's just an experiment and every data you get is just interesting piece of information that you can use, and instead be a bit more objective and not so subjective to it and not get so affected with however the world responds when we share our work online. And I just felt that pretty helpful. And even sometimes if you share something, to not look at your phone, and maybe actually after a few hours or the next day you look at your phone, and then you can see what interesting data there is and you can analyze that. And I just feel like the researcher role helps me in that. My last thought that I want to share with you is to take one tiny brave step at a time. So it does take time to build up that self-confidence, and the more you do it and the more you practice it and going a little bit out of your comfort zone and taking that one tiny brave step, it will add up, and in the long run and in the bigger picture you'll be so much more confident and you won't be so affected by what other things or your own thoughts that maybe are holding you back. They will fade away and you'll sort of learn that, okay, they're gonna be there, I have to deal with them, but they won't have such a strong hold on you. So I just encourage you to be persistent and don't give up and give it some time. That's also hopefully that this challenge will make you do that and maybe push you a little bit to share your work that maybe otherwise you wouldn't. And that's why I think it's so important that we go, and you can go under the hashtag kikasphotochallenge and look at what others are producing and sharing and leave a supportive comment. It really means a lot, and I'm always cheering for you. And if you have any specific questions or things that you're wondering about, you can put them in the comments below and I'll try to reply to as many as I possibly can, and also leave your Instagram handle so I can come and look at that. I try to go in and look at your work and also try to leave some comments. So yeah, let's just make this a really supportive community so that everybody would hopefully, after this challenge, feel a little bit more empowered and self-confident. Now there's again snow coming right at me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found some value in these tips and in this Mindset Monday video. Remember to use the hashtag kikasphotochallenge when you share your work confidently online. See you on Thursday in another photo challenge. Until then, take care, and remember to subscribe to the channel so you get notified every time there's a new video. That's every Monday and Thursday. And yeah, my Instagram account is Kutovakika. Come and say hi there as well. All right, that's it. I'm going. See you.
There's a bee in my bonnet, hello, hello. A bee in my bonnet, hello. There's a bee in my bonnet, hello, hello. A bee in my bonnet, hello.